I am a visual artist, primarily working in sculpture. I am currently based in Queens, New York. So while I've been at Bemis, I've been working on this large project called Perfidia. The work is a large, sprawling series of objects. The objects reference two very divergent and parallel family histories. My maternal family were some of the first settlers to come over from Europe, and then my great-grandparents immigrated from Mexico at the turn of the century. While at Bemis, I've been using the resources in Omaha and all over Nebraska, really, to sort of recreate or sort of reestablish a history. I've been remaking my great-grandmother's lace embroideries out of my own hair, and I've been spinning it down. Hopefully we'll start making into lace shortly. The other big thing that I've been working on, cast a porcelain corn planter. One of the first of, I think I have 5 pieces of handheld farm equipment that I'm going to cast in porcelain. So I see this project as a series of chapters. The first chapter of which I've sort of roughly assembled. The work that I've been making here at the Bemis Center is sort of what I'm calling the second chapter. And so it's more Nebraska specific and more specifically my paternal history specific. So I brought with me a lot of objects from the first chapter, one of which is a series of stacked bed linens that are all US made. The stack of bed linens is exactly 5 feet tall, so it's exactly both of my grandmother's heights. Then I also brought with me a silver bottle opener. It's the first patented all-purpose bar tool, a couple of other things, a lemon meringue pie that I made out of dried flowers from my next door neighbor's garden. The objects and the memories that I'm utilizing and working from, they're purely what's there and sort of what's been left behind. Somehow that object resembles that person's life or that history. I'm taking the object sort of at face value, trying to reimagine, like, well, what was that person like, or what was that life like, or what does that person necessarily mean, or why this object, or why are we holding on to it? So I'm thinking a lot about aspects of assimilation, about aspects of migration, the way that families move apart and migrate and come together. All of the objects that I'm recreating are turning into really fragile and delicate objects. They're, everything's on the sort of the edge of tipping or collapsing or just barely sort of holding itself together. You know, porcelain's extremely delicate. Silver's really pliable. It bends when it's used. I think that sort of speaks to what's missing and what's absent, and how fragile our understanding of self is when it's put together. It's all sort of based on these memories or these ideas or what's sort of left, not just left behind by family, but through historical record. As I'm going through the research archives and traveling out to North Platte to do research, the most frustrating and saddest thing that I'm finding is that there's very little record of not just my family itself, but many other Mexican American families that came through this area at the turn of the century. A lot of those narratives are also written from a place of victimhood, from what was done to them, not about the sort of lives they lived and the happiness they might have had on a day-to-day, or just what they ate or what they said or where they were. I was able to find a little bit of information about my family out in North Platte. I wasn't able to find any record of them in Omaha. Closest thing was their marriage license out in Council Bluffs. It's almost as if a family of 2 people that had 8 children and were living in this area for probably 35 years total, they never really existed. That's frustrating, and so I think that also makes the work that I'm doing really important to think about rewriting that and what that could actually mean for me or my family or other people who are in a similar position.